reigning Big Ten champions from Nebraska at 17-1 on the year, undefeated in conference play. Immediately Selman off the left side and is rejected by that big block. Rebecca Alec wearing number 5 in black at 6'4", along with Merritt Beeson at 6'3", 6'4". Very, very stout physical block, Holly McPeak, for both of these teams, and particularly Nebraska. Selman again, this time first look to Londot, dug by Lexi Rodriguez. Ball is set too tight for Taylor Landfair and tipped out of bounds, and Ohio State will get point in possession.
Missed opportunity there for Nebraska. They had that play set up with Lexi Rodriguez down that line.
Mia Tuman, 6-foot sophomore out of Pennsylvania. Back to serve. Ohio State has been going back and forth. Nice block by Ohio State. Talked about the stoutness of both of these teams, particularly in the block phase.
And the two veterans for Ohio State, Emily Londot setting up that block, knowing this ball's going out to Merritt Beeson. Riley Rader closes in the middle, but Londot gets most of that.
Overpass. Good cover by Alec that time, and it's going to be a back row attacker that's called against Nebraska's outstanding setter, who we've talked about, one of the very best in the business, Bergen Riley. She's wearing number 2 in black. 29th meeting all time between Ohio State and Nebraska. Nebraska leads the series with 18 wins, but they have split the last 4 meetings. Short serve going to Landfair. Chance in transition. Beeson. That ball is set way too tight. High up into the block. A very tough chance for Londot. Why, Holly?
Well, when the setter digs the ball, that means a non-setter is putting up a transition set. You want to give the hitter some room to swing. Against the Nebraska block, a trap set will not go.
Olivia Mock, defensive specialist out of Nebraska. Barrington, Nebraska, on to serve. And that ball is sailed out of bounds by Emmy Selman, 6'4" freshman out of Burtonsville, Maryland. Number 2 outside hitting recruit coming in, part of the under-19 World Championship team.
Nebraska really picking on Emmy Selman, trying to serve her, load her up.
Working on Selman again, wearing number 14, Londot out of the middle. Good block touch against Beeson. Londot ripping into the cross court.
Paul, you and I talked about transition setting and how important it is. That was a perfect set to Londot after the dig from the setter. Gives Emily Londot room to work inside the block for the Ohio State point.
Selman back to serve. What a night she had. Finally healthy after missing all of preseason. Injured just the second day of fall camp. Nice tip out of the middle. Riley Rader, the graduate student, along with Londot, who are Buckeyes to the core. They decided to stay even with their graduate season. 1,000 kills now for Riley Rader. Selman will go back to serve. 27 kills on 63 swings last night. 5-set loss to number 3 Penn State. Heartbreaking loss for Ohio State right down to the wire. Good kill down the line by Merritt Beeson, 13 in black, the transfer from Florida.
Perfect pass for Nebraska, and they go fastball to the right side. Merritt Beeson, so good at attacking down that line.
Selman, very, very good pass. Reese Webker pressed into duty on the outside because of injury. And a brilliant soft shot off the wing. Wearing number 27 in black, Harper Murray, 6'2" sophomore out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, with the kill.
Harper Murray has all the tools, a big arm and a soft touch. That time just a roll shot to the donut, middle of the court.
Another good first contact by Selman. Better block out of the middle by Andy Jackson.
Andy Jackson so disciplined in the middle of the court. Watch her eye work. She sees this ball coming to the middle, hands over the net quickly to shut down that ball at the net.
There is Rodriguez again, twice the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Following in the footsteps of Justine Wong-Orantes, the two-time Olympian, a gold and silver medalist. I guess if you play libero for Nebraska, you have to end up in the Olympics. Kayla Banworth won a bronze medal in 2016, and then Justine Wong-Orantes won gold in Tokyo and silver most recently in Paris. Good start for Londot. Short serve. Ace for...
Beautiful dropping serve from Rader. She's been using that ball that just drops short, and it's very disruptive.
There is Rader once again, 6'2" graduate out of Louisville, Kentucky. Another good short serve. And Beeson cleaning things up off the right side. Right side players got to take out the trash.
But I like that set by Nebraska, attacking the smallest blocker on the court, Reese Webker, who's on the left side for Ohio State, is listed at 5'9".
Here is Beeson, one of the captains and real leaders on this squad. Really smart shot once again by 27 Murray.
It starts with the dig. Bergen Riley is right front, but digs that super sharp swing by Londot, allowing them to turn that into a kill.
8-7, now the undefeated, at least in Big Ten play, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Pitt, in spite of the loss last week, both of them, these two teams have a lot in common. They both lost at SMU. Andy Jackson, 15 in black.
Nebraska is relentlessly going after that small left side blocker for Ohio State. In transition, they know she's there, and there it goes again.
Talked about Reese Webker, the 5'9" freshman Holly out of Centerville, Ohio. She's usually a defensive specialist and a back row sub, passing the ball there, but pressed into duty because of the injury to Grace Egan. Harper, a slam dunk, looking for a touch, and got a micro touch off the outside blocker. Thought we might have a challenge.
This ball set tight in transition. Harper Murray gets a piece of Londot's arm.
Each team starts the match with 2 challenges. If you are correct, you basically have an infinite number. I'll give you those categories in a moment. Back to Webker. Jackson again, unloading off the right side. Just spectacular on the slide.
Andy Jackson is the best slide hitter in the country, and Nebraska's going to use it all day long.
Evan Merritt Beeson, 3.0. Very, very tough to stop. Beeson again. Ace serve.
Nebraska, I talked to them early in the preseason. They said serving is a big part of our game. We want to dial that up, and you see they've started this match today with some incredible service pressure.
Yeah, the serving story for Nebraska is very interesting. When we spoke with head coach John Cook, he told us about a number he'd never experienced during his coaching career. Londot once again, 110 serves to Nebraska, and they only got aced 10 times. 110 errors, excuse me. He'd never seen a ratio like that any time during his coaching career. Just impeccable in the reception game. Here is Londot, 3 kills on 10 swings so far. A lot of short serves. I like the strategy, and to very good use. 2 aces already for Ohio State.
Not only are short serves tough to pass, but they disrupt offensive routes. So this ball drops, but it's going to disrupt the offensive pattern for Andy Jackson and hopefully take her out of the offense.
Short again, Lexi Rodriguez, expert receiver all over that. And then high off the edge of the block once again. Off Brandewees, that is Harper Murray. Lainey Choboy wearing number 6 in black, 5'3" sophomore out of Raleigh, North Carolina. 2/3 of the backcourt, the littles, if you will, and Choboy is a wonderful and motivated defender. Good swing into the deep cross court, dug right on target. Taylor Landfair, deep cross court.
When we asked John Cook this week about why trying Taylor Landfair in that starting lineup, and she's like, look, she does things that players can't do. Nobody else can do it. Big physical player, and look at that deep corner swing. Beautiful transition kill.
Taylor Landfair, 6'5" graduate out of Plainfield, Illinois, 3-time All-American. That ball missed out of bounds by Eloise Brandeis. But getting back to Landfair, as the rich get richer, not only a 3-time All-American, but in 2022 was Big Ten Player of the Year. And what she can do at 6'5", said over the top of the block into the corner. Murray going short serve. Very well passed that time by Londot. Oh, what a block! Andy Jackson, the most efficient attacker in Big Ten volleyball, does not get stopped, let alone slowed very often.
Eloise Brandeis, the sophomore in the middle for Ohio State, up early, knowing that Nebraska is going to try and use Andy Jackson as much as possible.
Andy Jackson coming in as a league best, 479 efficiency, which is spectacular. Nebraska, when they don't get ace, they're passing right on target. Good block touch, important juncture right now. Very, very nice play by number 31 in white for the Buckeyes, Brandeis.
In Ohio State, isolating her one-on-one on that right side in transition, going off 1 foot, only Taylor Landfair in front of her. And that little throwdown in the middle becomes an open target.
Defensive specialist Caitlin Hoffman wearing number 15 on to serve. Landfair off speed, nice dig that time by Selman. Back to Londot.
Emily Londot has been impressive to start this match today. Working through that big Nebraska block. Watch this ball in transition. Landfair and Jackson, little seam between those two blockers. They need to move that in and close it up.
Perfect pass by Choboy, and that off the edge by number 12 in back, Black Landfair.
Ohio State block there, but Landfair going off the hands, out of bounds.
Nebraska currently hitting at a 316 efficiency, 9 kills, make it 10 kills on 19 swings. Ohio State on the other side, 6 kills on 22 swings, but 5 errors. Kennedy Orr, 6-foot senior out of Eagan, Minnesota, on to serve. Continuing pressure on Selman. Londot out of the back row.
Nebraska keeping that serve on the freshman Emmy Selman, but she takes care of that, and Ohio State able to run that back row quick out of the middle to Emily Londot.
It's nothing new for Emily Londot, wearing number 22, to carry a huge load. 35%, Holly, of all the swings for Ohio State.
Go slide, go slide.
Trying to go short serve once again. Choboy was there.
Ohio State obviously part of the strategy to serve short and disrupt those offensive routes, especially from the middles for Nebraska.
Total number of attacks, second in the Buckeyes' all-time history. Second in kills, second in points, or 2,000 kills, 2,000 points, and also 1,000 digs. Selman, high up into the block, another chance. That is such a good swing, dug by Rodriguez. Ohio State got to have this free ball back to Selman, and even Lexi Rodriguez can't dig that ball. Brilliant swing by number 14 in white.
Nebraska is one of those teams that's so frustrating to play because they play incredible defense. Look at Lexi Rodriguez keep this alive. But finally, Emmy Selman, that freshman, hitting with range, beating Lexi Rodriguez in that angle. That is not easy to do.
There is Tooman, the setter, back to serve. Once again, another short serve handled by Alec. What a play defensively. Brilliant hustle. Back at you off speed. Beeson is there. Not a good set. Joust coming in. Thrown down that time by 14 Selman.
Transition setting is the name of the game. When your team's keeping the ball off the floor, you have to put up a hittable set. Dig here. Beeson flies across the floor, but this one's too tight for Landfair to get, and Ohio State's Emmy Selman takes care of it.
And what a play by number 15 in white, the low-flying defensive specialist, Caitlin Hoffman. Nebraska right back at you, point in possession.
And running that middle attack, Rebecca Alec, really known for her defense, but can be an offensive weapon as well out of the middle.
Hitting at a very good clip as well at 385. Spectacular efficiency for the Lincoln, Nebraska native. Big Ten second team last year. Selman is passing really well. Can she get another kill? Goes high flat, not there. Hasbrook with the cover. Tough chance. Joust coming with the pokey. Was there a touch? No touch detected. That ball ruled out of bounds. Point Nebraska.
I like the idea by Emmy Selman. That ball was set tight to the net, just trying to get a piece of the top of the block, but misses. Coming from way off the net, Selman gets her feet there, just misses the hands.
Almost every serve going to number 14 in white. The fans not happy. They wanted a lift on that particular play. Londot off speed. Rodriguez says no. Must have for Ohio State. Raider, no. Right side to Londot. Murray. Gotta keep that dig on your side of the net. Tough chance that time for Olivia Hasbrook, but Ohio State would like many years later.
Yes.
Continuing to work on Selman. Nebraska on top in the opening set, 20-15. Perfect transition set, better block. Good cover by Choboy. Excellent first contact. Beeson again. Good block touch. Ohio State got to have it. Londot looking high, flat. The linesman called touch. Brilliant swing by number 22, Londot.
A lot of incredibly talented freshmen on the court for both teams. Olivia Hasbrook, the libero, puts up a nice transition set for Emily Londot, and Ohio State able to get a touch out of that one.
Nebraska defensive-minded year in, year out, leading that category, 18 digs to 10 for Ohio State. Working on Murray, off speed, beautiful change of pace by Beaton.
Because Merritt Beeson is going against a smaller blocker, that left back defender has to stay deeper so she can dig that attack, and that opens up the short tip.
Mentioned that category, Holly McPhee. Lexi Rodriguez already with 8 digs so far. Just the opening set, 5-point lead. Very good off shot, off speed that time by Merritt Beeson. Turned down the line by Webker and missed out of bounds. That is the 7th hitting error. Hitting error, volleyball nomenclature, ball either hit out of bounds or blocked on your side for a point. That's way too many.
Reese Webker, a talented freshman, recruited to be a defensive specialist, but because of all the injuries from Ohio State, she's had to take a very active role in the offense.
Selman up to the task in reception. Oh! Unloading down the line. Lexi Rodriguez holding her spot, but still too good that time by Londot.
We talked about the physicality of Emily Londot on the right side. It sounded like a cannon coming down that line. Lexi Rodriguez, the best defensive player in the country, could not pick that one up.
We've got to have a conversation about that, Holly. Who you think the top libero defensive specialists are around the nation? There are some very, very good ones indeed. Riley Rader back to serve. Perfect reception. Andy Jackson again on the back quick.
Nebraska has so many offensive weapons. Perfect pass by Malk, the freshman, and Andy Jackson, known for her slide, but there hits a back one with authority.
Beeson, originally from Alabama, back to serve, spent a couple of years down at Florida before transferring to Lincoln, Nebraska. Every ball on Selman, and she's been up to the task. This time, beating Lexi Rodriguez to the outside. Brilliant swing.
We watched Nebraska go through their defensive planning, and they said, yeah, we're going to give Londot that line and put Lexi Rodriguez on the line, and she finds a sliver deep down that line open.
Emily Londot has given Ohio State, coming in as a big underdog, a slugger's chance. 8 kills on 19 swings. Needs some help. Off speed again. Wonderful choice that time by Murray.
Similar play that Nebraska was running on the right side with a smaller blocker in Mia Tuman, number 9, the setter.
Choboy
the defender has to stay deep, and it really opens that short shot over the block.
Choboy coming back on. It was Olivia Mock in before defensively. Now back there with Murray. Choboy in. Riley up front with Jackson and 6'5" Landfair. Easy serve. Not well executed on the slide. Why does it work for Nebraska and it doesn't work this time for Ohio State?
Well, it's location. You need to keep that ball lit.
Contest against Ohio State, against USC in Los Angeles, and she was still shaking off the rust, but last night was spectacular. 27 kills on 63 swings. Just underway, Beeson dug in the backcourt by Hoffman. Selman is dug. Really smart shot. Harper Murray seeing the court and finding the open area to open things up in the second.
Anytime a left side blocker comes in to help the block in the middle on the pipe, that opens up that short ball, left front, and Harper Murray identifies that and takes advantage of it.
Really good swing. That's what we saw last night. And I brought up Selman because I made a point of visiting with Selman, number 14, before the match. I asked her how her knee was coming in. I mean, 16, 18 hours later, Heather Cox told us about this quick turnaround. And she said, I'm fine. I did all the work last night and this morning. I'm good to go.
She's also 18 and responds, rebounds quickly.
What does being 18 feel like?
I do
not recall. Beeson off the edge of the block and down, number 13 in black. 6'4" senior, Gardendale, Alabama, first team All-American last year.
The leadership of this talented Nebraska team starts with Merritt Beeson and Lexi Rodriguez. Those two players really lead this young, talented group.
Londot once again cutting inside, getting Beeson on her wallet. Good first contact, ball set too tight. Webker will recycle. Good transition set, Webker getting it down inside. Look at the Cornhuskers pursue the ball. Murray. Point of the match so far. Londot looking for hands and got it. Spectacular transition swinging. Talk about taking out the trash, Emily Londot.
And everybody knows the ball's going to Emily Londot. First of all, the scramble play by Nebraska to keep it alive. Long rally, Nebraska picks up the middle. Harper Murray's a little off the net, hits it flat and deep. That catches Selman high, but then everyone knows it's going to right side Emily Londot, and she finds a way.
Short serve once again, but Mauk was all over that. Let's go down to the sideline and Heather Cox.
Paul, the message in the Ohio State huddle between sets was simple. It was slow down. Stop being so chaotic. They want to cut down on errors. 8 hitting errors in that first set needs to be cleaned up. They're off to a much more efficient start in this second set with 2 kills, no errors.
Thank you, Heather. Webker, pass right on the money. Both teams working so hard at the defensive end. Good court coverage. Beeson out of the back row.
You see the scramble by Ohio State. Olivia Mauk puts that ball right in Bergen Riley's hands, and the defense has to think about Andy Jackson on that slide, and Merritt Beeson able to score down the middle.
Another perfect reception. And the beneficiary. Brilliant start so far on the outside, right side by Emily Londot. We talk about in-system, we talk about perfect pass. How important is that to be a successful offensive team in serve receive?
Well, it really helps if you've got all your offensive options because it freezes the block, but Emily Londot going to work inside the block. Sharp angle there.
Working on Murray. Here's Jackson again. Wow. She just sort of coils up and unloads.
And the high contact point is what makes her really tough to stop defensively at the net and behind. She hits with incredible range off 1 foot. Look at her get her body behind that and crush it.
Harper Murray back to serve. She now leads the Cornhuskers in attack. 6 kills on 12 swings, no errors. Merritt Beeson with 5. This Nebraska team does not make many errors. 3 attack errors on 39 swings. Very clean. Right side, and that is stuffed. Brandeis, number 31, trying to return the favor.
And it was a perfect pass by Emmy Selman. Look at how verbal and vocal she is in the huddle. I like it. But that time blocked on the slide set.
Pretty good delivery, but that's against 6'5" Taylor Landfair. Ohio State holding their own in reception. Rodriguez is there. Nebraska pursuing as they always do, but Londot now with her 11th kill on 24 swings. 24 swings early in the second set. Caitlin Hoffman, 16 matches last year before a season-ending injury. Very solid defender. On to serve. Landfair.
Incredible offensive range by Taylor Landfair. In 2022, she was the Big Ten Player of the Year while at Minnesota. Now bringing it to Nebraska, getting used to this whole new system. Beautiful kill cross court inside the defense.
There is Kennedy Orp, 6-foot senior, came in with high aspirations as far as setting was concerned, but now a very, very valuable defensive and serving substitute. Londot, heavy arm down the line, can't be dug by Lainey Chobor.
Emily Londot, effective out of the back row. That's a D set. It's behind the 3-meter line, and they're able to run it in transition. Nebraska continues to give her line. I'd like to see them make a defensive adjustment and block that line, force her to go a different direction.
Olivia Hasbrook, 5'8" freshman out of Eureka, Missouri, on to serve, first-team high school All-American. 7-5, the Nebraska lead. Very easy serve. And you pay the price.
I think the strategy for Ohio State is to serve that ball short. That wasn't short enough to be disruptive and make the passer move, and that's the risk you take with that short serve.
There is Bergen Riley, 6'1" sophomore out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. South Dakota now becoming a hotbed for indoor and beach volleyball. More on that. Was the Big Ten Setter of the Year last season, and emphasizing once again as a freshman, led her team to the national championship. Emmy Selman down the line.
Emmy Selman heating up in this second set for Ohio State. She, at 6'4", she's got the range and the size to battle the big Nebraska block. Finding ways to score is the challenge.
There is the setter, Tuman. Yeah, you can see the short serve, but that one not working. And Beeson, an easy score for Nebraska. Olivia Mauk, 5'6" freshman out of Bennington, Nebraska, coming on to serve.
Lexi Rodriguez, perfect pass, and then Merritt Beeson isolated on the left side because it looked like Bergen Riley was going to run that middle attack.
That's a pretty good shot by Selman. Not a good set to the outside, and you want to try to recycle that.
Jordan Larson, definitely something special. I'll tell you, the Nebraska players are lucky to be mentored by her on the bench.
Beeson, big swing, can't be dug into the cross court.
Harper Murray does so much for this Nebraska team. 6 rotation player. This ball is set behind the 3-meter line. Harper Murray gets her feet there, cranks that sharp inside the block. That's a big-time swing from sophomore Harper Murray.
Murray leading the way, once again, a very balanced offense. And a rare time that Emily Londot has been slowed. Alec in the middle, wearing number 5, along with Beeson on the outside. A very formidable block right now for Nebraska.
Well, Merritt Beeson sets it up, but Rebecca Alec loves to patrol the net and shut big hitters down.
Alec averaging 1.3 blocks per set, which is a very good number. Maybe now the workload starting to get to Emmy Selman. They being Nebraska, have been serving number 14 in white relentlessly.
Nebraska finds weaknesses and attacks them. Not that Emmy Selman can't pass, but she's a freshman, inexperienced, and she's carrying a big load for this Ohio State team.
Zaria Ragler, 6-foot redshirt sophomore out of Maryland, on now to work out of the middle for Ohio State, trailing 13-6. Selman again in trouble in reception. Murray off the top of the block.
So many incredible offensive weapons. We talk about it for Nebraska, but the balance, every hitter can hurt you. And Bergen Riley is so skilled at setting them up. and putting them in good positions to score.
Murray now 8 of 14. Merritt Beeson 6 of 13. 44 swings, 3 hitting errors. That is remarkable efficiency for the second-ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers.
We talk about the offensive balance. Look at those numbers. 5 players averaging over 2 kills per set. That's incredible, unheard of. No other team has those kind of numbers.
Beeson is slowed. Pretty good set in transition that time by Selman. Merritt Beeson again. Roll shot dug by Hasbrook, but out of the reach of the rest of the Ohio State pursuers.
Olivia Hasbrook, the libero for Ohio State, crashing that middle. Here's another big-time roll shot by Harper Murray. She knows when to turn on that power and then take something off of it.
Nebraska hitting 479 after hitting 364 just last night in East Lansing in the 3-0 win over Michigan State. Emily Londot again.
We've seen her go super sharp angle. We've seen her attack down the line, and Nebraska might want to switch things up. I mean, she can hurt you in both locations, but keep her guessing.
Londot now with 13 kills on 29 swings, having a spectacular afternoon at home. Here is Rader. Tip up into the block, covered that time by Bergen Riley. Perfect first contact on the slide. And even though it wasn't hit at 100 miles an hour, it still gets you to the floor. Andy Jackson again.
When Andy Jackson's driving behind the setter, you don't know if she's going to go back one or slide. And that shorter approach really limits the runway for the blockers of Ohio State.
Zaria Ragler back to the sideline, replaced by Brandeis. There is Beeson. Tough short serve. Handled nicely by Webker. Blockers pulled down their hands, and that ball hit out of bounds. Why would you do that tactically?
Well, Reese Webker took a nice rip at that ball, but they did not think she had an opportunity to get on top of that ball and kill it, thinking she's going for a tool.
Oh, it did not. I thought that Bergen Riley had pulled down her hands, but my mistake again. Londot. Dug again. Beeson tipping out of the back row. Look at Rodriguez flying around. Murray, and missed it over the sideline. Spectacular day by Lexi Rodriguez, one of the best in the business.
Lexi Rodriguez so good at identifying that ball being thrown in the middle and sacrificing her body to keep it alive for Nebraska. Although they missed the transition opportunity, this is a beautiful read.
First hitting error on 17 swings for number 27, Murray. Perfect pass. Here comes the slide again. Jackson is dug by Selman. Tremendous transition and defense by Ohio State.
Jen Flynn Oldenburg, the head coach for Ohio State, said, look, we need to use our middles in transition. Here you see the results, one-on-one. Nebraska middle blocker late getting there. Fantastic dig to kill for Ohio State.
Good serve down the line, working on Murray. Out of system here for number 27. Shot up into the block, recycled. Very earth-friendly. Perfect first contact by Beeson, and then out of the back row. That ball was tucked inside the Ohio State block.
Eloise Brandaway there, just hands were not over quick enough to stop that ball by Merritt Beeson in the back row.
Doing some housekeeping, a big wet spot, both teams really playing hard. John Cook, what a battle they had midweek with Purdue. Went 5 sets. Purdue actually had a match point. He wasn't happy because the Boilermakers, very good team, we'll see them next week, hit 311. He said, I want to think of 5 teams that have hit over 300 in my 24 years in Lincoln. Londot has been superb. Off the edge of the block and out of bounds by 17, Webker.
Reese Webker, 17 and white, really working hard on that left side filling in for the injured left side player. Not easy, but tooling the block of Nebraska right there for the Ohio State point.
Webker listed very generously at 5'9" and playing in place of 6'1" Grace Egan, out with the same ankle injury that ended her season last year prematurely. She is expected to come back, and Ella Roble, the transfer from Wisconsin, has yet to play all season long. Bergen Riley, very good choice.
I love the story that John Cook told us about Bergen Riley, that when she was in 8th grade, her club coach, Kairos Volleyball Club, Mitch Lenning, called John and said, look, I have the future Nebraska setter. And he's like, yeah, everybody calls me and says that. But he went up there, took a look, and followed her. And look what we have now. Mitch was right.
Londot going off speed. First touch taken out of the play is Riley. Oh, that looked like Landfair got a piece of the block, but no, out of bounds. We all put together lists, both mentally or literally. Where do you put Bergen Riley on your list of top setters? There are many this year in college volleyball.
I think she's phenomenal. Something special for sure. Only a sophomore, and last year as a freshman, she was one of the best setters in the country. There's a lot of different kinds of setters across the country, but she's in my top 5.
That's #1 in your hearts from Taylor Landfair. John Cook telling us that she's capable of doing some things that nobody else can. Maybe this qualifies.
And Bergen Riley sets her up for this play, hitting that sharp inside the block and defense of Ohio State.
Interesting last year when Texas took out Nebraska in 3 sets in dominating fashion in the NCAAs. Both of those teams, the Longhorns and the Cornhuskers, were led in that match by freshman setters. Ella Swindle for Texas became the 3rd freshman setter ever to lead a team to an NCAA champion, the other being Micah Hancock from Penn State and Jenna Gray from Stanford.
Emily Londot with her 14th kill for Ohio State.
Tuman, excellent reception and over the top of the block. Merritt Beeson, one of the things that makes her special is her ability in row 1. What do I mean by that?
Well, she can hit from the left or right side. In rotation 1, that means the setter is right back. So Merritt Beeson, who usually swings on the right side of the court, lines up on the left and gives you an offensive spark on that left side.
Selman has been the target out of the middle once again, #21. Zaria Ragler giving Ohio State a little bit of a lift offensively and defensively.
Ohio State needs more help offensively out of the middle. If they can pass this well, they can run and go one-on-one out of the middle and score at a higher clip. This is so important to stress the defense of Nebraska.
Out of system, Ohio State with a chance. Got to go right side to Londot. No, out of the back row to Selman, and a touch by Olivia Mauk in the back row. Nice swing by Selman.
It was interesting because the defensive player for Ohio State interrupted. Actually, it was the middle blocker, got in the way of Emmy Selman, but she was able to keep her feet under her and score out of the back row.
Selman again, what a huge night. 27 kills, 63 swings, 9 digs, overpass. Maybe a timeout for Nebraska. A little bit of service pressure from the homestanding Buckeyes.
Service pressure is crucial if you want to get a team like Nebraska out of system.
Ohio State on a 3-0 run. A little bit of a mini run, putting a little pressure on Nebraska. Out of system again, looking to Murray. Hasbrook with the dig. Oh, that's just a better block. It's just a mismatch on the outside.
Nebraska knows where that ball's going in transition, and you've got an undersized hitter attacking one of the best blocks in the country, Merritt Beeson and Rebecca Alec, and that's a tough ball. You got to swing high and around that block.
Nebraska averages 2.6 blocks per set, currently 7th in the Big Ten Conference. USC and Oregon among the leaders in that category, new members of the Big Ten. Webker, another tough chance. Rodriguez, what else have you got? Good block. Really good work out of the middle that time by Zaria Ragler with some help from Londot.
Ohio State knows that Andy Jackson, 15 in black for Nebraska, is such an offensive threat. They are ready for her in transition. Emily Londot scooted in to help Ragler with that block on that 3 or gap set to Andy Jackson.
Megan McCann, 5'9" senior out of Wayne, Pennsylvania, on to serve, wearing number 12 in white, but comes up well short. And Merritt Beeson will go back to serve. Opening set, Nebraska won at 25-18. They led 10-6, early timeout, and now 2 points away from taking a commanding lead. Thanks for joining us here on this Saturday afternoon. Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Columbus. Football team was off. Sorry about that, but they do have to get a bye week. First ever college volleyball match coming your way on NBC and Peacock. Errant pass, good cover by Brandeis. Rodriguez with a rare miss, but kept alive. First contact is tight. Yeah, got to go back row. I've been waiting for that, Holly. Set the back row.
Ohio State trying to make things happen, especially after a dig. Emily Londot digs that, and then Emmy Selman available out of the back row, hitting that big set with success.
Emily Londot in her graduate year, along with teammate Riley Rader. And she is a Buckeye through and through, has had a tremendous career. Once again, second all-time with over 2,000 kills, 2,000 points, and 1,000 digs. And I talked to Emily earlier in the year, because a lot of players take their graduate or their COVID year and go someplace else. She owes the program. She stayed, even though she knew that Jen Flynn Oldenburg was going with a youth movement. Set point. Back row again to Londot, and is blocked. Jackson on the outside, along with Taylor Landfair. Second set going 25-18 to Nebraska.
Nebraska knows it's out of system ball going to Emily Londot, even though she's in the back row. Taylor Landfair and Andy Jackson way over the net. In the discipline on that block, that's a tough ball.
Let's go down to Heather Cox with a very
good for her growth. I mean, she's tested every day.
We talked about it during the break. There has been a change at the setting position. Kamaya Gibson, 6'1" junior out of Medina, Ohio. The transfer from West Virginia is on. She started the last couple of matches. She's in place now of Mia Tumen. Just underway, third set, must-win situation. And you must find a way to get past Rebecca Alec and Merritt Beeson.
And Jen Flynn Oldenburg, the head coach for Ohio State, has two different kinds of setters and trying to mix things up so they can score. And sometimes it provides a spark for them. We'll see if it does in this third set.
There is Riley. Selman again, you heard Coach Cook. We're going to continue to serve her and put on a lot of pressure. And that's been to good effect. Merritt Beeson again. So many weapons in black for Nebraska.
And for Ohio State, they're passing the ball where they can only really go left to Selman, and the defense and block is set up for Nebraska, which allows them to transition it perfectly.
Riley again. Selman was served 32 times in the first two sets. That is a lot of workload. Ragler staying on now for Ohio State. Londot from about 13 feet off the net. Ohio State now in good position ahead in the point. And Landfair missed it out of bounds. Holly, you're very busy. You're going to go over to Pittsburgh. You have Stanford and Pittsburgh. Are right now Nebraska, Pitt by far the two best teams, or who else do you put in that elite category?
I would say Nebraska and Pitt have established themselves as the two teams to beat, and there's a lot of others that can emerge. There's still time, but those two are the best that I've seen.
Beeson, beautiful dig into the cross court by Hasbrook. Free ball, Ohio State needs it early for some confidence and momentum. Right side set too tight. Out of the back row. Gibson out of the play, the setter. Rodriguez is never out of the play. Wow, just a rocket by Merritt Beeson, delivered by Riley.
But for Ohio State, they had three different swings in transition, and the sets were not good enough to kill. Their Londot has to take something off of it, and you can't do that against the red-hot offense of Nebraska.
Olivia Malk back to serve. I want to get back to some of the teams that you think are really elite we might see in the national semifinals and the regional finals moving on. A lot of them happen to be out of the Big Ten. We'll take a moment. Wisconsin, a little bit of a slow start. You've got Purdue as well. There's the top 10. Penn State, 17-1, absolutely brilliant start. We'll have them in a couple of weeks' time in Wisconsin.
We've seen some of these top teams, Louisville, Stanford, we've seen them play very high-level volleyball, but then we've seen them get swept. So they haven't established the level of dominance that Nebraska and Pitt have.
Beeson again. Wonderful velocity out of number 13 in black, 6'4" graduate student. Had a wonderful year last year, first team All-American. 3 kills per set, coming in at a 237 efficiency.
You cannot take a play off against Nebraska. They are relentless.
5-1 lead, now make it a 6-1 lead. Maybe an early timeout called by Ohio State.
Olivia Malk, just a freshman. Nebraska already has 2 littles in Choboy and Rodriguez, but Olivia Malk is such an elite passer that she found a way into this Nebraska lineup.
Working on Selman again. I'll give you the good or perfect pass numbers for Malk in just a moment. Murray. And another kill. Yeah, you need a timeout if you're Ohio. This is our NBC Sports crew working overtime. 3 coaches on the sideline of each of those franchises, if you will, in the last 50 years. Merritt Beeson, dug by Gibson. Perfect transition set. Murray going off the top of the block, registering her 11th kill. Let's go down to Heather Cox.
Well, Nebraska has long been known as one of the most disciplined programs in the country, and that starts with John Cook and his infamous set of rules. In fact, a specific list of rules resides in every player's team notebook. They're discussed on day 1, and according to his players, they're rarely, if ever, broken. So rules like you must tuck in your t-shirt at practice. John says simply, hey, this isn't a club team. And then no long acrylic nails. Coach Cook has acquiesced and allows the fake nails. They just can't be too long. And then there's the rule, this is my favorite, guys, of no powdered eggs. There is actually a clause specifically written into their hotel contracts that all eggs served at team meals must be real eggs. Each player must have their team-issued binder with them at all times. That includes the team rules, as well as pages on culture, expectations, scouts, and their playbooks. And he admits, he goes, I am old school in my roots, but I'm trying to lighten up, join their world. I have to adapt. I have a good yin and yang going with my team. Paul.
Thank you, Heather. Great stuff. And those of us who've known John Cook for a long time, and Heather, you've known him since high school. He's gone through a transition. Early in his career at Nebraska, he didn't think he needed a personal relationship with his players. That's very different now. Just check out the TikTok that he has with Allie Batenhorst, who transferred to USC. 5 million views. He has a personal relationship, and a different one, with each and every of his players.
Well, it's important to relate to your players.
Absolutely. It is a different world. In his 25th year, 4 times a national champion. We have our first challenge. Was there a touch on this particular play? Working off the right hand of number 22, Emily Londot.
Look at this dig by Lexi Rodriguez to keep it alive, and then Rebecca Alec going off the right hand, or trying to go off the right hand of Londot. I did not see the fingers move.
Several areas you can challenge. You can challenge a ball in or out, a touch off the block, a net violation, 3-meter line violation in terms of attack line, foot fault, ball up or down on the pancake, ball off a defensive player. And
Rebecca Alec actually was pointing in like that hit in, or she's pointing at Emily Londot that there was a touch.
Ball was well out of bounds. If you're just joining us, 25-18, 25-18, number 2 Nebraska on top of Ohio State. 2 sets to none. And if you are correct with your challenge, you basically have an unlimited number. This is a very close call. Touch or no touch is always the most difficult.
It's interesting because Londot turns her hand, but you don't actually see the finger bend back.
Second referee is April Fricky. The first referee, Suzanne Lowry. Here's the call. Yeah, they called a touch. So good use of the challenge. Rebecca Alec goes over to her head coach. Yeah, I told you there was a touch. So there's so much trust now between John Cook and his players.
It's important. You can't lie to your coach about that and lose the challenge.
Nebraska now on an 8-0 run. Ohio State has changed setters, in real trouble here against this powerful Cornhusker squad. Pitt Panthers ranked #1. They take on Stanford tomorrow. Londot has been superb, but not gotten any help. Really good swing over the top of the block. Missed by centimeters that time by Merritt Beeson.
Ohio State, for me, Mia Tuman did a really nice job sprinting around, pushing the ball from pin to pin. Kamaya Gibson has not been able to do that as well, and Nebraska gets a free ball.
There is Selman. What a body of work. They have targeted her, they being Nebraska, targeted her all afternoon long. Rebecca Alex, 6'4" junior, coming from Lincoln, Nebraska. How about that, playing for the Cornhuskers?
Her 4th kill on 6 swings.
Lexi Rodriguez back to serve. Nebraska with a commanding 3rd set lead, 11-2. Short serve. Ragler just does handle that. Really good swing, but the undersized Reese Webker misses that ball just out of bounds. And Lexi Rodriguez, part of being a wonderful defender is knowing you were wonderful at this. Bronze medal on the beach, 3-time Olympian, NCAA champ indoors. You got to know what balls not to play. We got to get back to our conversation about this season's top liberos, of which Rodriguez is certainly on everybody's list. Londot again. What an afternoon.
15 kills for Emily Londot. We've seen her hit that sharp angle, tons of power, and everybody knows the ball's going to her, and she still finds a way to score. Bergen Riley, that right back defender, has to put her helmet on.
It's been a very, very tough start. Young Ohio State team, also hit with a couple of key injuries on the outside. Beeson once again in Ohio State. I did their first Big Ten match. They go to USC and they lose in 5, and then it just started to spiral down a little bit. Grace Egan got hurt. Roble still hasn't played, the transfer from Wisconsin. And so it's been a tough go. Only 1-6 so far. And then the heartbreaker last night. They almost took out #3 Penn State, lost in 5. 16-14 in the 5th. Good transition set. Murray into the cross court, dug by Hasbrook. Rodriguez, not only a dig, but right on target and down. Nice play off the left side in transition by Nebraska.
I love the decision making by Harper Murray. She knows when to take a big rip and when to use that soft touch. She works, gets her feet out wide, puts herself in a position to take a big swing, but the little soft touch over the block scores for Nebraska.
Murray leading the way with 13 kills, 27 swings, 1 attack error. Incredibly efficient. Brandewees back on, having to make first contact. And Jackson said, enough of this. Whether I'm from Alaska or Colorado, we're getting rid of this. I didn't know that she was originally from Alaska. Very good nugget, Holly McPhee.
Thank you.
But the point about John Cook said, she's still very new to the game. Is she and Bergen Riley the best slide attack in the country?
One of my favorites to watch for sure.
Webker, good swing. Look at the control by Rodriguez. Out of the back row, and just missed by Beeson. Emily Londot back to serve. 48 swings. That's nothing unusual for Londot. 15 kills. Emmy Selman coming up in second in that category, hitting 0, 6 kills, 24 swings. Not the kind of night she or afternoon she would like to have after she was so good last night. But Jen Flynn Oldenburg wasn't making any excuses when she spoke with our Heather Cox about the quick turnaround. Not at all.
It's part of the game. Nebraska had to turn around as well. I thought Ohio State played fantastic volleyball last night, and Jen Flynn Oldenburg thinks her team can respond.
15-5 is the advantage. Nebraska up 2-0. Mentioned the very tough schedule put together by Nebraska. I'll give you all those ranked wins in just a moment. On the slide, just so much velocity. Even if you have hands in front, it doesn't matter. Harper Murray will go back to serve. The ranked wins: Arizona State, Stanford, Creighton, USC, Kentucky, Louisville, and Purdue most recently. The reigning freshman of the year is Murray. Brandery's on the slide, and that's a touch off of number 27 in the back row. No, very nice play by Eloise Brandery.
And that's only her third kill. She's a very good slide hitter for Ohio State, but they have not been able to get her involved, hitting a nice deep kill between the two blockers from Nebraska.
Nebraska hitting 382. Reese Webker and the Buckeyes only at 111. Landfair, dunked by Hasbrook, and can't quite be saved. Taylor Landfair very quietly is putting together some kills, but still there's a real battle there in terms of who gets that starting spot. Lindsey Krause is also battling for playing time along with Taylor Landfair, and John Cook is saying, I wish they would just decide it. One of them just go ahead and own that spot, making life tough on the head coach.
Taylor Landfair hit over 400 last night in one of her first starts, trying to grab that spot for Nebraska.
Brandewy's again. Ohio State could use a lot more of that going forward.
Back-to-back kills out of the middle for Ohio State.
Jen Flynn Oldenburg pushing buttons, changed her setters, trailing 17-7. Abby Yoder, backup setter, on to serve. And Taylor Landfair again. The 20, you mentioned it, Holly, but for those just joining us, the 2022 Big Ten Player of the Year at Minnesota.
Perfect pass, starts with Harper Murray. Rebecca Alec runs a slide, and then the fastball to the left pin. Taylor Landfair terminating sharp angle with power.
There is Riley once again. Very impressive performance by Nebraska. Working on Selman. Good swing. Bright future for Emmy Selman now that she's healthy after that early season, very early. Second day of training camp, she injured her right knee.
And you can see what a competitor she is. She knows they're down, but she's not going to stop fighting. Set coming from way off the net. She finds a big rip to that corner for the kill.
7 kills for Selman. We talked about it. Londot leading the way with 16. A very balanced attack, as it is every afternoon or evening out for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is a team third best right now in the Big Ten in terms of efficiency at a 294 clip. Tough chance here for Selman, well off the net. Block is slowed. Rebecca Alec kind of got caught in midair. I'm up here, what do I do now?
Got to be patient on that ball, and she likes to be quick and aggressive. Little push from off the net, and Ragler gets that for Ohio State.
Expert pass. Back set by Alec. Webker. This is a tough chance. Excellent swing off the edge and out of bounds by Reese Webker.
Reese Webker has the hardest job on the court, being undersized, battling against one of the best blocks in front of her, but finding ways to score for Ohio State today.
That ball right on the sideline by Emmy Selman. And we should point out, Selman part of the #2 recruiting class that came to Ohio State last year. They just need to get them all out on the court at the same time. That was an absolutely perfect serve on this year. National Player of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year, and a world champion in 2014. So some royalty on the sideline here in Columbus. Merritt Beeson able to hammer that ball down inside. Both of us, Holly, seeing Nebraska for the first time in person. What are your impressions overall?
This is not my first time. I've seen them already. But, you know, they're passing numbers, and then so many ways they can hurt you offensively. But on the other side of the ball, they're dangerous defensively, too. So, I mean, they're double threat and one of the most dangerous teams to win the national championship.
Reese Webker slowing down the onslaught by Nebraska. Upcoming schedule for Ohio State. It's never easy if you play in the Big Ten Conference. There's always somebody lurking. Next up, they're at number 10 Purdue, and then at home to Minnesota. There are 4 teams in the top 10 out of the Big Ten Conference. Working on Murray. Oh, nobody up, pass to kill.
Every time we talk to coaches, they say, look, it's about serving and passing. You want to serve your opponent aggressively, and you want to pass well to run your offense. Nebraska is putting that ball in Bergen Riley's hands, and she is going to work isolating Harper Murray on that left side one-on-one. And she's going to win that all day long.
Here is Beeson. Webker, very good reception. And off the top of the block, Eloise Brandewie started to do some work offensively.
And that time she stayed in front of the setter, hitting it flat off the hands of the block. Known as a slide hitter, but important to be able to attack anywhere along the net. This time stays in front, double block there, and she goes high and flat for the kill.
Holly, you talked about good or perfect passing. Here are the numbers, and they don't lie. Good or perfect pass, Nebraska on the season, 61.4%. Ohio State, 43%. That is a huge advantage for the Cornhuskers. That ball just missed out of bounds, but excellent hustle. There's been a change in the libero jersey. Well, actually using 2 liberos now. Caitlin Hoffman. That's a new rule in NCAA volleyball this year. You can use 2 liberos and designate them at any specific time. Ohio State now trailing 22-13.
And for Ohio State, their numbers have kind of been inconsistent because sometimes they've had 3 freshmen in the back row. So those numbers are going to go up as the season progresses.
It's interesting. We were reliving last year's national championship and the campaign for Nebraska. Finish that thought in a moment. They had a spectacular season until to a very bitter end. Rodriguez, spectacular cover. Good hustle by Ohio State. But Nebraska finished last year at 33-2, 19-1 in conference. They're the reigning Big Ten champions. Lost at Wisconsin and then lost to Texas in the national championship. They had 4 freshmen on the floor most of the season last year.
And we haven't even talked about Texas today. Texas is one of the most talented teams in the country, trying to find the right lineup so they could make a big push in the NCAA tournament.
Dug by Rodriguez again. Must have it if you're Ohio State. Excellent swing, number 14, Emmy Silman.
That time, Kamaya Gibson went fast to the left pin, and Emmy Selman using that whole court, that deep corner is available off the free ball. Kamaya Gibson, good fast ball to the pin, creating some space, high to the deep corner.
Perfect reception, land fair. That is almost indefensible. Unforgivable into the cross-court corner. That's not even nice.
Kennedy for in reserve for the Huskers.
Mentioned the upcoming schedule for Ohio State. Coming up for Nebraska, they have Illinois and Michigan at home. And mark this one down, at Wisconsin on November 1st. And we haven't talked much about Wisconsin. Off to a slow start. They have certainly righted the ship. A big win yesterday over a good team from Oregon. Your thoughts on the Badgers?
I think Wisconsin is loaded with talent. They've got a talented freshman setter. I think they're going to continue to get better as the season goes on. You know, you don't want to peak early in the season. You want to peak at the end.
They didn't. They lost their first 3 matches.
Yes, but
against
again,
very good competition, mind you.
Some teams start hot. Some teams finish strong. Texas finished strong last year.
Yes, they did. That ball just out of bounds by Ohio State, and now Nebraska is just 1 point away from a sweep. They won the opening set 25-18, the second 25-18. Went out to a quick 7-1 lead. A lot of red in this building, no surprise there, but a lot of Nebraska fans. They travel. They've led the nation in attendance year after year after year. I think it's 332 consecutive sellouts. Magnificent support for this volleyball team. Rodriguez again. Absolutely perfect dig. Harper for the win. Londot, Rodriguez, sometimes doing the impossible. And that ball out of bounds. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers, as advertised, the number 2 team, And they stay undefeated, number 2 team in the country. They've won now